Welcome back to another episode of The Perspective. I'm your host, Brooklyn 80s, and I'm back with another good episode for you guys today. First of all, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I talk all things women basketball. And today we're gonna be getting into the international players that was in the draft. I got a special guest for you guys here today. My brother Alford Corriette. Hopefully I pronounced his name the right way. He could correct me when he's on the channel, but he's an expert at the international game, international scout. He's also a contributor to the WNBA and the Liberty, and he also works for Her Hoop Stats. So he knows what he's talking about. He's going to help us break down some of these international players today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Liberty today. We're going to talk a little bit about Chicago Sky today. We're going to get a little bit into the Valkyrie because the Valkyrie is probably our most international team in the WNBA. So I kind of want to hear his thoughts and you guys' thoughts on how do you think overall international team is, because I don't think we ever seen this before. I don't think we've seen a team this international in the NBA or the WNBA. I think this might be a first. So how do you feel a predominantly international team could fare in the WNBA? You know, I'm obviously right now they're gonna suck, so I'm not talking about in the interim. I'm talking about more so like when they become established and they have, you know, all of their good players. I want to know, how do you guys think an international team will fare against some of the WNBA team at its best? So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. No further ado, man. Let me introduce my panel. So today we have got Mikachu. Mikachu, what's up?
Yo, I'm good. How you?
I'm good. We got my brother Mikachu. Also Alfred. Just to let you know, she's a Liberty fan. In chat, you know, just people watching on a playback and people watching live. Mikachu is a Liberty fan, so she's representing the New York Liberty. Nate, what's going on, my brother? Nate, you with us? Nate might have stepped away from his computer real quick. Nate's a Chicago Sky fan. For all the people who don't know Nate, he's representing the Chicago Sky, and it's my brother Alfred. Man, Alfred, how you doing? We've been trying to work this out for a while, so we finally got the times to line up. Hopefully, I gave you a great intro, but if I missed anything, get and tell the people who you are, what you about, so they can understand a little bit about you.
Sure. Definitely. Thanks for having me on. I know we've been trying to get this going for a while. Alford Corriette with Her Hoop Stats, also covering the international side of things, covering multiple leagues, whether it be the youth, the professional level. So excited to talk about the international game with you tonight.
Nice. Nate, you with us?
Yeah, I'm in.
What's going on, Nate? Like I said just a second ago, Nate's representing the Chicago Sky.
Yes, sir.
So, before I don't like to just jump into topics. I like to get to know how people was feeling. I like to, you know, this is show, so we don't have to like make it so business like. So I just want to ask everybody, how was your day? I'm gonna start with you, Nate. How was your day today?
Oh man, took the day off and got some sleep. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to see my parents today. I hadn't seen them in a year, so just waiting on the train and just glad to get some rest, man.
Nice.
But it was pretty interesting seeing a lot of the draft takes, and you can tell who doesn't watch basketball, who doesn't watch film. You know,
it's a lot of bad. It's definitely a lot of bad takes out there. BD Sports says good evening, fellas. Also, let you know, Alfred, I don't know if you're familiar with StreamYard, but if you look to your right, you should see something that says chat. It's two chats. It's a private chat. That's for us to communicate on the panel. But then it's another chat. If you click that chat, you'll see the people that talk on the side. You'll see it populate so you can see the chat. Alfred, how was your day today, brother?
Oh, day was good. I think it was a good day to close out the week. We got the weekend coming in. We had some hot weather coming here in the tri-state area, so I know a lot of people.
Yes, it was nice.
Happy to get some 80-degree weather finally. After cold and windy. So maybe Nate's been sending us some of that Windy City weather over here. So.
Right.
Hey, you can take it. You can take it.
And then also for the people who don't know, Alford was actually covering the draft. He was at the draft, so he had a busy week. And Mikachu, how was your day?
Yo.
How was your day today?
It was cool, nice springtime weather. Got a little bit breezy, but everything was good.
Yeah, today was nice. I enjoyed it, man. I got to work tomorrow. I ain't checked the weather yet, but I hope tomorrow we get the same type of weather. CJ says, sup, y'all? What's going on, CJ? CJ says, looking forward to this stream. I catch most of it on the replay. Hey, listen, my replay gang is just as important as my live gang. So shout out to the replay gang, man. All right, so with that said, we're going to get into the first one. This is obvious. This is the player that everybody pretty much know the most about. So we're going to start talking a little bit about Dominique Malonga. Alfred, what you got on Dominique Malonga? This is I'm not expecting for this to be any new news because most people know most about it, but if you got something new you can tell us, that'd be great. The other players is kind of a mystery, the rest of the players, but what you got on Dominique Malonga?
Yes, so I think Dominique is a player that a lot of people have been wanting to see join the WNBA for a while.
Absolutely.
Talking about a player that's 6'6" with elite agility, elite acceleration, someone that can rim run like we haven't seen from bigs in a while in the W, someone that has crazy length, crazy leaping ability, someone that can be an impact player. And then you think about the fact that she's just 19, going to be 20 this year. The sky is definitely the limit for Dominique Malonga. I think Seattle is definitely hoping to get the best out of her in the next couple of years. She signed her rookie scale deal today, so she's officially in with the Seattle Storm today. Nice. She actually had a playoff game as well today in France. Her team wasn't able to win. They lost by 1, but I'm going to bring up her stats for you in just a minute. Yeah, so today she had 21 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 9 of 17 versus Basketland. That also has another French prospect coming over on the Connecticut Sun, Leila Lacan, and Luis Soto, who signed a training camp contract with the Dallas Wings. So she's playing quality French League games against WNBA level caliber players. So when you think about the fact that she's getting that pro experience now at such an early age, where some collegiate players may not have that, combined with her athleticism, I'm very excited to see what Dominique can do on the next level.
Nice. Let me ask you a question. That's good that she just signed her deal, and unfortunately she just lost. Does that mean that she? Obviously, we got to speculate. Does that mean she might be here in time for training camp for the Seattle Storm? Because I think a lot of the players who's playing, they're not going to make it in time for training camp. But she's done. If you lose, you done, or you still got more basketball to play?
Game, so they still have to play. Upcoming next week.
Got you. I didn't know how that worked. I didn't know if she was like out and then she'll be able to.
Yeah, different leagues have it differently. Like, so the French leagues and some of the local leagues, they do multiple games. Some they do it based on the point differential over a set amount of games.
Gotcha.
EuroLeague is just one game elimination. Boom, boom, boom. So different leagues have different rules.
Right. What's your obviously again we don't know, but I'm just asking your thoughts. What's your thoughts on her playing this season? You think she's going to take the season off, or you think she's going to play this season?
Well, the word that has come from her camp allegedly is that she wants to come over this season. She wants to play in the WNBA. So I think it will be good for her to get her feet wet in the league right away.
Nice.
I think it will be a good chance to really prove her game against the best that the WNBA has, because
absolutely
she's had a chance to play against W level talent overseas. Euro Cup. In some of her games, she went against Leroux, who was also signed to Seattle. She went.
I think she won it. I think she went against her teammate. I think I saw a game with her going against Ezzy, if I'm not mistaken. I think she went against Ezzy.
No, that probably may have been previously. So like Ezzy's team Praha plays in EuroLeague. Dominique's
Okay.
team is in Euro Cup. So it's like a little bit
Okay.
of a differentiator. But she's definitely had some experience against Ezzy and again Olympics, previous stuff like that. But I think for Dominique, this is gonna be a good chance because she's gonna be facing the best of the best. You know,
Yeah.
she's facing the Asia Wilsons of the world. She's facing the John Paul Joneses of the world.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be interesting. The one thing I think will be key for Dominique moving forward is just improving on the physicality aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because if you look at her frame, she's kind of thin, you know, she's kind of slender.
I mean, she's
But-
19, so she's going to develop.
Exactly. She's going to have
Yeah.
time to develop that
Yeah, absolutely.
physicality. But I think like once she gets used to that and sees what it's like and knows the level of physicality she has to get to, that's even going to be better for her because now she can work, bulk up her body, and then just take off.
Facts. And then I got a question for you about how does she fit into the Storm? Do you think in my opinion, because that team is so stacked, I feel like her first year at least she might come off the bench. How do you feel? She might be the best talent, but still might have to come off the bench because you got Ezzy there, you got Neki there. So I'm thinking she might come off the bench. Like you said, bring her in slow so she could work on her physicality instead of throwing her directly into the fire. So how do you feel she fits into the Storm, and what effect do you think she'll have? Because the Storm, I like the picks they made in the draft. They also got Madison, what's her name? Madison Booker, if I'm not mistaken. Madison Connor from TCU. Sharpshooter. They need. We know that they have Jordan Horston out, and they have Nika Mule out. So they need, and then they lost Drew Lloyd, right? So they need some perimeter shooting, right? Because we know Gabby Williams isn't the best perimeter. She's a great guard, great forward, not the best perimeter shooter, right? So I think that picking up Madison Cotter is big for them. You know, somebody who could stretch the floor, and then also picking up Dominique Malonga, I feel like is a win-win. So how do you feel like she'll be able to help them, you know, advance this season? Because this is a team that could arguably Nate could speak to it, because Nate feel like this team might struggle, right? So this is a team who could arguably be one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the league, or could probably be like maybe middle of the pack. So how do you think she impacts the Storm?
Yeah, so I think with Dominique, you know, she gives you that youth and that athleticism and that size you Seattle needs, because you just can't rely on Ezzy Magbagor being that rim protection down low, that little bit of a force down low. So now that you have Dominique Malonga in the mix, and depending on what they do with Lee Rue, you have additional size in your front court. But then also for Dominique, I think she's coming in at a great time because she's going to be playing with quality vets like Skylar Diggins-Smith, like Nneka Ogwumike. You know, these are legends of the WNBA. So she's going to be able to learn from them in her first year and be part of a Seattle Storm team that's looking to contend and looking to compete. And she's going to be able to see what it means like to be part of an organization that wants to be in the upper echelon of the WNBA. They have that new practice facility. You have a coach that is also looking to break out in Noelle Quinn. You know, she really wants to get to that contention stage, so she's going to be able to learn right away. I don't know how per se they want to bring her in, because they have options. If they want to start her, they can play around with the lineups, but if they want to bring her off the bench, they also have that flexibility. So I think it's going to be interesting seeing how Seattle really brings in Dominique Malonga, knowing that they want to be in a win now mentality, but they also want to be certain that, hey, this is our future piece, that we want to make sure that we are putting her in the best position for the long term as well.
Right. Listen, man, great analysis there. Mika and Nate, y'all got any questions for Alfred before we move on to the next player?
I don't know. Maybe I'm being just ignorant because I don't watch international games. But how you think she's gonna fit physicality wise with the WNBA? Because some people. What happened?
No, I said that was gonna be my question too. The physicality.
Oh yeah. Because some people was, you know, catching a hissy fit seeing Caitlin Clark getting pushed around like she a ragdoll. You know what I mean? do you think she can, you know, I guess hang if she's getting quality minutes? You seeing that she could grab rebounds and they trying to give her more minutes?
Yeah, so like I said, I think physicality-wise, definitely getting a bit stronger, getting a bit bigger, I think is going to be key for Dominique. But I wouldn't, short side of the French level of physicality because the French league and the international league, especially on the European side, is definitely physical at times. And I would say the best example of that is look at the Olympic final between France and USA, where France really made the USA team uncomfortable. And these are players that are playing in that French league, like the Leila Lacans of the world and others. So I think Dominique has gotten used to a certain level of physicality, but I think definitely now competing against like the Asians, the John Pauls, the bigger and athletic, just as athletic as her, I think that's what's going to be key. So I think for her, she's actually going to benefit even if there's a little bit of a struggle, because now like, okay, this is the level of physicality in the W. Now I see where I have to get to be the dominant player that I want to.
Great question, great answer. You got something, Nate?
Oh no, that was gonna be my question. I mean, I know what you're saying about the physicality in Europe, but guess what? Just imagining her, cause she's like a stick figure, man. She's athletic, she got potential, but trying to see her going up against like a Camilla or an Angel or Asia Wilson, I feel like she's just getting pushed out the way unless she just like her length, but it's just different.
I would say, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, Alfred, I agree with you saying, Nate, as far as the physicality and the size, but I think her game is so dynamic, she's not going to just be utilized as a post player. These players is also going to have to guard her off the dribble, right? She's going to have, and then she got so many skills. She got a jump shot. Like, she's not just going to be a banger.
She does have a jump shot.
She's not an inside post that's going to be battling. You know what I mean? That's going to be where she struggles at, and that's going to be her growth and where she got to get better at. But she got so many other skills that those players are going to have to guard some of the things she do too. And then the last thing you want to do, in my opinion, is for any basketball player, not just for Malonga. So I always like to go to this analogy. I don't know if everybody's seen, I forget which Jurassic Park movie this was, but they had a dinosaur that was locked in a cage, right? And this dinosaur was like, it had pieces of all these dinosaurs, right? And it turned it into like a killer, and it let the dinosaur out, right? The dinosaur ended up sneaking his way out. And the one thing they said is they don't want that dinosaur to realize where it's at on the food chain. You get what I'm saying? So whenever you got immense talent like that, and you really don't know how good, that's what I think Juju was doing this year. A lot of people was mad at Juju for being so aggressive and taking so many shots, but I think Juju kind of held back a little bit in her first year because she was like trying to learn the college game. And I think this year she just kind of let it all go. And that's why you see so many mistakes, because sometimes when you just out there and you saying, well, let me see how good I really am, you're going to make some mistakes. So I think that's what Malonga is going to have to do in the W, because she's been playing against pro talent, right? She's been playing against these WNBA players, but she haven't played in a W yet. So when she get here, she's going to have to really see how good am I for real? Like, you know what I mean? She's going to have to really go. She's going to have to go against the Asians, and, Asians. So she might get embarrassed. That's what happens, right? When you learn it and you're going against better players. But she might see something. She might be like, oh, my 6'6", they can't do nothing with. So I think that she is going to be a little bit of that too.
I understand what you're saying. My one of her main weaknesses is, which can easily be corrected, is her ball handling. She can, seeing her trying to dribble is like seeing somebody trying to walk it the first time. You know what I'm saying? So she's improved some, but her because she's more perimeter, because she's 6'6", but she has like a perimeter game. But that also goes back to what I was saying about Seattle, is will she be used the right way? Because coaching. We talk about coaching. Coaching is important. So if the coach uses her correctly, then she'll eventually develop into a star. But if the coach be like, hey, you 6'6", getting the post, and she constantly getting embarrassed and she loses her confidence because she's not necessarily a post player, then that can like mess up her development if you constantly stick her in the post and a post player just like eat her up, like, oh, you barbecue, oh, you ain't got no size, man, get up out the hole. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't got no legs. So it also goes on coaching too. If Noah Quinn uses her correctly, then eventually. But I don't see her being used correctly in Seattle. I still see them as being maybe 500%.
So I just wanted to, Edge, I wanted to kind of go back to something you said, Brooklyn, that I thought was a good point about, her expanding her game on the perimeter. There was a stretch overseas where teams started to get really physical with Malonga, realizing like, okay, she can dominate in the post. Let's try to, bump her off her post game. Let's try to see how she handles that physicality. And there was a brief point where there was something where you saw her really struggling a little bit, where she was trying to like figure it out. But what was the beauty in that was she kind of learned, oh, wait a minute, I can start to play a little bit on the perimeter. I can attack closeouts. I can be effective not just in the post, but handling and using my length to get downhill and using my speed to get downhill and affect the game multiple ways. So I think if Dominique can have some of that on the W level, I think that's what's going to be good for her. And then I also saw one comment that said, how old is she? She is 19. She turns 20 in November. So again, we're talking about a player that just recently, if you think about it, turned 19 last year. So
right.
Again, she has a lot of runway to grow and a lot of leeway to develop. Because another player you can think of that's on Seattle, Ezzy Magua, she came in relatively young as well, and she's developed and has had to continue to grow year after year after year. So I think another player that she can learn from and learning about like how she can develop her game coming from an international side to a WNBA side. I think it's a good fit for where Malonga is right now.
Yeah, facts. I agree, because just what you said earlier as well, Alfred, she got a lot of great vets on that team, right? You can learn from a Skylar Diggins, who's the ultimate teammate, ultimate winner. But I think the perfect person she's going to learn from is Nneka, right? I think Nneka has that. She has all the experience, and she's a winner. She's won before. So I think, and then seeing what she was able to, Angel was not even on her team. Seeing how she even took Angel under her wing last year, you got your own rookie now. That's gonna be, like I said, if she develops the right way, and from everything I'm seeing from her, I don't see why she wouldn't, right, develop the right way. She's gonna be a problem in a couple years. So, all right, chat. Y'all got any questions for Alfred before we move on? We about to move on to the fifth pick. Y'all got any questions from the answer? Y'all want to know about Dominique?
I do like that comment that said she's Dirk. Well, she has actually been practicing her one-legged fadeaway overseas, so that's something that is in her arsenal right now. So I'm excited to see like if she can bring that to the W level, because she definitely does go to it quite a bit.
All right. So let's move on to another thing. Listen, I'll be butchering these players' names. Do you know the pronunciation?
Yeah, so some people pronounce it "you stay your seat."
You already know where I was going.
Yeah, and trust me, sometimes it's tricky. So I get it.
Yeah. So this is the next player. This for the you said you stay you seat.
You stay your seat.
All right. You seat there from the Valkyrie. If I'm not mistaken, 6 foot point guard, 6'1", right? I don't know much about her. Like I said, at this point in the show, I'm gonna be relying a lot on young. I know a little bit about Dominique because I did my research. I just heard about this girl like maybe 3 weeks ago. Like in the middle of the NCAA tournament, I heard them talking about this girl. So I don't know much about her, but you could take it away.
Yeah, so I think Tuesday is a very interesting player because at 6, she's in between that 6 foot to 6'2" range. But a lot of times she was kind of the 1-2 punch with Dominique Malonga for Asvel Lyon.
Oh, they played on the same team?
They played on the same team.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Where a lot of Asvel's played with the pick and rolls, with you stay your seat as the ball handler and Dominique Malonga as the roller. So they kind of played off each other a lot of times in France and in the Euro Cup league. And you say someone at 6'2" from Lithuania, as you can see in some of the videos, can knock down the perimeter shots at times. Definitely likes to score off the pick and roll, likes to create shots for herself off the pick and roll. Big body, I think, is going to be interesting. Has been touted as one of the top European young players for a while. played in the top leagues as early as 14, 15. So this is someone that a lot of people have been expecting to see in this WNBA league for quite a bit. I think in terms of development, one thing that some do have concerns for is maybe her quickness. Maybe to see if she can improve her lateral quickness a bit, improve her downhill speed a bit, because for someone that plays the way she does, she's going to be guarded by a lot of the WNBA's best wings. So wings that are quick, that play at her size. Yeah. I think that's going to be interesting, seeing how Jasheet's able to handle that. I haven't heard too much on whether Jasheet is coming right away, but I think once we have more clarity on that, we can see what USAID can do.
Gotcha. That was going to definitely be my question, because she was invited to the draft, but she didn't come. So I kind of assumed she probably will take a year. She probably won't come. Let me just let everybody know right now, panel as well as the chat, if y'all have any questions, feel free to jump in. People that's in the chat, just let your questions fly. Alfred will be able to see them and he'll answer them. Whatever he think that is interesting, he'll answer your questions about these players. And like I said, Nate Mikachu, if y'all have questions, just jump in.
So just to maybe answer some questions, BK, just quickly, I don't want to leave anybody out.
Yeah.
So to be at the draft, I was more there in a media role rather than kind of like a fan role. So no autographs or anything like the like. But it was cool to just cover the draft, to be able to do interviews and be able to just see the overall venue and be able to cover the picks as they came in live. So I think that was.
Was this your first one?
This is actually my third.
Okay.
Third draft. So the drafts always are an interesting experience on the media side of things, just to see like who's in attendance and what the overall flow is like, seeing if the picks are like the mock drafts or if they go totally left. So things like that are always fun. And then to Hot Boy Corleone, I could see Seattle playing her a little bit of like that, kind of like Dirk using her in the pick and pop. She's been getting a little bit more 3-point volume later on in the season. So I'm not sure if Seattle may feel as comfortable putting her in that deep range pick and pop right away. Maybe experiencing a little bit of her in the short roll off the pick and roll is kind of like what Seattle does with NECA. I think they may try to use it to really get her going in that mid-range area rather than just sticking her out in the 3-point line and just camping her like that right away. But I think they're going to try to mix and match what they do with Malonga, because you really wanted to get a feel of like, okay, how can I get to my spots in the W level, and seeing what she can do and what she can't do early rather than just being a bit stagnant with that aspect.
Facts. Nate Mikachu, y'all got anything?
No.
You got something, Nate?
From what I know of her, she's pretty talented, has good vision, but not that fast. Like, she don't have really good agility, but what I've seen her, she's pretty decent. She'll definitely take another couple years to like get up to WNBA level. But she can come over now, but she got the talent, man. She got the vision. I saw her. I was hoping the Sky would be able to grab her, but the Valkyries is on it, man. They got good scouts. I didn't think she would go that high, but she's definitely a lottery pick. I know she was trying to make sure she got into this year's lottery, so I think she may want to probably come in later. That's all. So that the prioritization doesn't apply to rookies. So they can literally miss training camp and come in the middle of the year. So they don't apply to the rookies anymore. That prioritization rule.
Got you. So I got a question for you, Alfred. Being that she's a young point guard and she's one of the best PGs overseas, how does she stack up to the stars over here? So the Paige Beckers and the Caitlin Clarks. Is she on that level of PG for overseas player, or is she are those two a notch above her?
Yeah, so I would say in terms of probably athleticism, I would give a little bit of. Let
me add. I'm sorry. Let me add to my question. And the reason why I'm asking, not the reason why I'm asking, but I also want to add in her age of being, she's 19, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
With her age, I'm talking about more so because I believe Paige is 23, and I believe Caitlin is 22, turning 23, something like that. So I'm asking like her on a trajectory of those players. So not necessarily right now is she as good as them, but what I'm saying is, does she has that type of talent to be one of those type of level point guards when she's, when she reaches her 22?
I think the first thing is, do you really want to play her at that point guard? Because even though she is the primary ball handler on the pick and rolls, she's technically not the quote-unquote point guard. Sometimes she's more like the two, kind of that like wingish player. But I think she has a good IQ. I mean, I think when you think about the fact that she's had 4 or 5 years of pro experience overseas, and then she's already showing you that she can create off the bounce using screens and scoring off screens and facilitating at 19. I think she definitely has potential to be on that level one day. Because again, remember, like what you're seeing from Paige and Caitlin are now at like 21, 22 versus you're seeing
exactly.
that 18, 19.
Exactly.
So I mean, I think I'm excited to see like how she continues to play.
Right.
And I think it's good that especially a lot of the overseas players are now actually saying, we want to come to W now, coming a little earlier, because it wasn't necessarily the case. Some players were waiting 2, 3, 4 years and then really having to get into the weeds at 23, 24 when other rookies are. But now they're kind of getting a bit of a leg up at a time when you're getting the best of the best.
You want to know what's funny about what you said? Something just popped in my mind. I have no idea if this is the case at all, but this was a competitive Olympics on both sides, on the men's side and the women's side. So I wonder, I don't know if this is the case. I wonder if before people thought it was so much of a gap, like the overseas players, that they like, nah, I don't want to come over when I'm 19, when I'm 20. I want to come over when I have more experience so I can compete. But I wonder if the overseas players is looking now and saying things like, oh, we can compete with, like, as close as those games was, like, oh, I think we could compete with them. So I wonder if that's coming to that confidence, seeing how well they competed in the Olympics is a little bit of the reason why some of these younger women is saying, I come over at 19, I come over at 20.
Yeah, I think it can be a combination of that. Plus, then also, I think a lot of these international players do follow the league and some of the league, what's happening in the league. And then remember, when you think about this as a possible year for CBA talks, seeing like what contract situations can look like in future years, might as well try to get in now. But then also from a competition aspect, I think there is some truth to what you're saying in the sense that there are some slightly smaller gaps between, again, because like when you're looking at like what France did against USA, like France was up 10 at one point in the gold medal game against the USA's best of the best, and it also had their fair share of young players on the team. You think of Layla Lacans of the world and Dominique. Australia even had some relative success in the Olympics, and you think about players like Jade Melbourne, who plays for the Mystics. So I think some of the young players are looking at this and like saying, no, I think we can, try to play what we can do and come over and see like how we fare against these players. Well, I think you're muted.
Sorry about that. I was adding people to the channel. I didn't want to interrupt with the sound. We got two new people on the panel. We got my brother, Coach Marcus, and my brother, Mo3. Coach Marcus, Mo3, what's up? I don't know how. Good. Ain't not much. I don't know how much I've been listening to the panel, but right now we're getting into some of the international players in the draft. So right now we on. If he just said it, so I'm gonna see if I still got it. Osete. That's close enough. So, right? Yeah. So he's breaking down. So if y'all got any questions about any of these international players, Dominique, Malonga, Osete, y'all could definitely jump in. He's, for the people who don't know, I'm gonna repeat it again, and make sure y'all actually go follow him on his socials. He has a YouTube channel where he breaks down the overseas players. He's a scout. He's an overseas scout. So he breaks down these overseas players, and then he also has an Instagram. Whatever he want to share, he'll share. But he works for her. I'm sure a lot of y'all familiar with the website Her Hoop Stats. He works for that. He works for that website. He helps to put the advanced analytics on that website.
What's the YouTube channel?
He covers.
The YouTube channel is just my name, Alford Corriette, at YouTube, but username is Alford Corriette.
Put it in the chat.
Yeah, I have them put it in the chat.
Okay.
I had him put it in the chat. Also, he covers a New York Liberty and in a WNBA as a whole. So,
well, if you good on international, tell me something. Tell me. We'll talk about Malonga later, but I want to know what happened to the girl Nadia last year.
Oh, Nadia Potch?
Yeah. What happened to her? She got drafted. I didn't hear or see her ever again.
No, she got drafted. She's still playing overseas. She recently played this season in the WNBA. She switched teams. So the year she got drafted, she was playing with Southside that won the WNBA championship, and that team was pretty stacked. That team had Lauren Jackson and other players as well. She switched teams playing with the UC Caps that had Jade Melvin. So she's still there, but she is still kind of developing and trying to find her niche overseas before hopefully.
Why didn't she come over though? I guess that should be my question. Why didn't she ever get in?
She's a drafted stash. Atlanta got her.
It depends on how players feel, how teams feel about coming over, them coming over as well. Because Atlanta also drafted a player from Australia, Isabel Boulez, who still didn't come over yet. So it really is incumbent on what the teams feel like and also what the players feel like. I think everyone's at their own speed. You have players that can come over right away. You have players that may take some time. So everyone kind of moves at their own pace.
That's just different. Because, I mean, I'm still relatively a rookie to the WNBA. This is only my second year invested as a fan in the WNBA. So when I see somebody get drafted and they walk across that stage, I'm looking for immediate, okay, we need to see her on the court getting minutes and stuff like that, especially she was drafted in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. So it just, I don't know. I guess that's my rookie American thought process that doesn't necessarily translate to what they doing because
I just dropped really quick. I just dropped his link in the chat. I think it's a clickable link. Let me know if it's not. I'll redrop it. But that's his link to his YouTube page in the chat.
You gotta cut paste. They don't let you click on them in the chat.
Okay. No, I thought when the admin do it, you could click on it. It should be.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I tried. Listen, if I got one of my admins in the chat, try to do it for me if I did something wrong. Because usually when the admin do it, it's clickable. But make sure everybody go. Like I said, subscribe to his page. He does breakdowns on all these European players. Like I said, he's a contributor to Her Hoop Stats website. And he covers the Liberty and the WNBA as a whole, but he covers the Liberty.
If you also have Twitter, known as X now, I'm usually there posting as well. Usually, the stuff on Twitter is more short form, kind of quick hits on players, but usually you'll find probably more daily stuff from me on Twitter than YouTube.
Hey, Coach Marcus.
What's up?
The link is clickable on the YouTube page, but not on the StreamYard.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. I got you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Because I am looking at it. I am interacting through the StreamYard, not through the. That makes sense.
Yeah, same here. That's when I saw it. I'm like, wait, hold up. It's supposed to be clickable. So when I went to the YouTube page and I was like, okay, yeah, it's clickable.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, I knew it was something. But yeah, great question, Coach. Anybody else got a question about these international players right now? We just talked about Dominique. If y'all want to, Paige just said she subscribed to you, Alfred. Anybody got a question about Dominique? Anybody got a question about Uste? Anybody got a question?
I don't have a question about Dominique. All I need Dominique to do is get one good dunk in, and she'll take over. That's all we need to see. It ain't got to be every game.
Hey, Coach, I'm with you on that. I'm to the point with these women that I'm tired of seeing them dunk in practice. It's like, if you're not gonna do it in the game, stop showing me what you get. Kiki done teased us. She ain't dunk all year.
Queen Agbo dunk today in practice. Yeah, Queen Agbo dunk today in practice. Like, come on, they're in the game.
The Canadian girl from Duke. The Canadian girl, she done showed us in
Kobe
college
Fournier.
or she could dunk. Fournier ain't do it
Yeah.
all year at Duke. If you're not gonna do it in the game, stop showing me what you could do in
Stop
practice, please.
They even got hyped up when Brittany Griner did it in Unrivaled. I was like, it ain't got to be every game, but just let people know you can do it, and that'll generate the interest in itself. But I don't know. Hopefully, she looked like she could do it on the regular. So hopefully, we'll at least see one or two.
For
I'm
her,
looking
it
forward
looks
to
like you said, Coach. For her, it looks the most effortless. So hopefully she does it because we've seen people do it before, and for them it was the for the people who've done it. It looked like they gave a little bit of effort, but it still looked easy for them. So with Dominique, if I look at hold on, Nate. If I look at everybody and Nate and everybody who's been following the WNBA for a long time, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe y'all be like, no, this player did it, effortless too. To me, when I look at everybody, all the women in the WNBA I ever seen dunk, Malonga looked the most effortless to me. It looked like it's not even like it looks the easiest for her. So if she don't dunk in a game, then I'm giving up on it.
Kiki's practice, it looked effortless for her too.
Shit, for Toby Fournier, it looked effortless for her too.
And Toby
Toby Fournier, she got screwed. Yeah.
Toby
But
was
Sivka Fowles, she dunked in the All-Star game. Well, the year she's retired, Sivka Fowles dunked in the All-Star game. I think it's like they don't want to get embarrassed. They don't want to hurt their nails. And it's like if they miss it, they don't want to get embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? But just dunk it, man. Even if it's like an open lane, just dunk it. Letitia Amir, like when they was in Under Armour, she had a wide open. Everybody stood up like this, like, oh man, she gonna dunk it, and she laid it up. Like just dunk it, cause she can dunk. Yeah, so it's like a confidence thing. Like they don't want to get embarrassed, but just dunk it.
I'm in a slightly different camp. I don't think just dunking it is enough anymore. Seeing as how so many people have actually just dunked it, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I think it has to be like what Watkins did to Sedona Prince. If it's something like that, then
I still remember that.
Really gonna get people hyped up. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you, Mo3. I feel like dunking, we seen that already, but at the same time, I feel like they don't do it enough for the people who are, the people who don't watch WNBA. They feel like, oh, the girls never dunk, right? They feel like, so you want to do it just to take that talk away. Like, okay, they will dunk. They might not dunk all the time or whatever the case may be, but they will dunk. But I am with you, Mo3. I think it needs to be some more flash to it now. Like, for instance, a girl like Malonga coming down and to have a Skylar Diggles on your team, I gotta see an alley. I gotta see an alley. You feel me? It might been an alley in the WNBA before, but I never seen it, or I don't remember. So if you can do that, and that could go to
it was in college, but there was a lot of them in college,
right? But if that goes to Sports Center, it's gonna take the game to another level because now people gonna be like, oh shit! Not only is they dunking, they throwing alleys now. You get what I'm saying?
Like if Angel Reese was to do what Ashton Watkins did to you know what I'm saying? I was like the first game of the Fever season. You know what I'm saying? And she dunking on Leah Boston. Like that's getting posterized throughout the year. Like if it only happens once, we talking about it all season. Like, man, you see that Angel Reese dunk? You know what I'm saying? Like 2 months ago. So I see what you're saying. Like if that was to happen, if she'd get a pass back from Haley Van Lith and dunk on Aaliyah, even if it's just one, that's all season. And people gonna want to see just her do that all season. So ratings going up off that.
My bad, Nate. I didn't mean to cut you.
No, go ahead, Mo3. Go ahead. I know you want to get it out. Go ahead.
But that was the thing with the Watkins. It was malicious. It was like vicious because she slowed down, waited up for her to get that poster. Like that's why people were talking about it for so. Because if she would have just dunked it, then it would have been like, she dunked it, and it would have been like a talking thing for maybe 3 days, a week maybe. But people were talking about it for months because of how she dunked it.
As a poster. Yeah, absolutely. Great points. But let's get back to this draft. I want to ask Alford a question about Uste. And how do you think she's gonna fit in when she comes over? I got a feeling she's not coming over this year. I don't know why. I don't have no evidence, but I got a feeling that she's not gonna come over. I hope she does, by the way, but I got a feeling she don't. But when she does get to the Valkyrie, how do you think she affects the Valkyrie? You already said that's if she even gonna play the point guard, so she might play 1, 2, or 3. We don't know how they're gonna use her. But how do you think she affects this roster and kind of makes this roster better?
Yeah, so I think Ajsa is an interesting player because we've never really seen a player at her size that can kind of do a lot of things that you think of with W point guards. You know, when you think being able to create off the pick and roll, being able to facilitate, being able to do things like that. But then when you also factor in the fact that the Valkyries are a team that has so much size on their team, when you think of Kayla Thornton at 6'1", you think of Steph Talbot at 6'2", 6'3", Temi Fagbenle at 6'3", 6'4", Letitia Mir here at 6'3", 6'4", Janelle Salon coming over from France at 6'2". Like, this is a Valkyries team that has so much size and versatility. So when you're able to throw in someone that can facilitate and get those players in the right spots, I think that just makes the Valkyries an interesting team. And also Kate Martin at 6 feet.
Right. And then another thing I want to throw in there, going back to what I just said, I think this was a strategy for the Valkyrie, right? I think they play in a long game. I think they're gonna try to be bad for the 2025, 2026, and maybe start to become good in 2027. Because if what I say is, again, I don't have no information, right? She could very well come over, and I hope she does, as I want to see her play. But if she don't, they got a top 5 draft pick that's not going to play on their roster this year. So that makes them even worse. And that's going to put them in a position to get an even higher draft pick next year. So that, let's say if she does come over now in 2026, now she's playing with a better draft pick in her. You get what I'm saying? So I think this was all strategy for the Valkyrie. What are you guys thinking? Anybody on the panel can answer that. What you guys thinking? Think of that strategy that the Valkyrie may be using as a drafting stash, so they could still be bad and get a high lottery pick next year.
I think Valkyrie got one of the best coaches, so I don't discount it because that's a GM move. That's
really quick, Coach. Not to cut you off, but I just put Alford's X Twitter, whatever you want to call it, is in the chat. So if y'all want to follow him, he said that's the best way to reach him. Is in the chat. Go ahead, Coach.
I think the I forget her name, but the Valkyrie head coach. I think
Natalie Nakaze.
Yeah, she's one of the best coaches out there. She done earned her stripes and put her time in, and I think she's gonna be better than people think. I think the Valkyrie are gonna be better than advertised. Yeah. Their first year. I think they're gonna shock some.
They don't have bad players on their roster now. Let's be clear. They don't have a superstar, but they don't have bad. Like, they have good role play. They have solid players. To your point, Coach.
Yeah. And just to throw this out there, just to upset the apple cart a little bit. If you don't want to go into this, you ain't got to go into it. But is it going to be a little bit of the ism if Caitlin Chen makes the team?
I think she should make the team, though. I think she should make the change. And then a lot of people, and we could talk about this. You could talk to this player too, Alfred. A lot of people forgetting Janelle Salon actually signed to this team.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So again, people forgetting the talent. I have a question though. You can speak to Janelle Salon, Alfred, but I have a question for you too. And I kind of want to know, and I kind of talked about this in the intro. How do you feel about this team being so international, right? It's so many international players on it. This is, I don't think we ever seen this, at least not in basketball, right? I've never seen this many international players on one team, right? To me, this is an international team at this point with a few Americans on it. You get what I'm saying? So how do you think a team like this will be able to compete at it's not now, obviously they're gonna be trash, but at, you know, when they put together and they got their pieces to have a European team going against an American team, basically, how do you think they'll be able to fare? Because the games is different, you know. I know you said earlier France and some of these other players are also physical, but American is known to be the more physical team. But I think that might have, you know what, I might be even misspeaking in that, because even when I think about the men's game, You hear Luka talk, and you hear people like that talk. They say, listen, it's tougher overseas. So the American game might have switched, at least on the men's side. I know the women still play physical. But how do you think a overly international team is fair in the WNBA? And then what's your thoughts on Janelle Salon?
Yeah, so I'm actually interested to see, because I think this is probably going to be the best case study we've seen of like a heavily international team playing against mostly American players.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily surprised that they went in this direction if you look at who's in the front office. If you think of the GM, Hema Nianin, he was the assistant GM of the New York Liberty. And the New York Liberty, as we know, have kind of pushed the envelope in terms of the international players. When you think of bringing players like Marine Johannes and Leon Ebert and so forth. So, like, if there was anyone that would, delve deep into the international range, it's someone that kind of already knows that type of system. One of their front office members, Vanja Chernovec, she was actually the GM of the London Lions team that won the Euro Cup. And obviously, like, to be a British team that wins Euro Cup, I think is something exceptionally. And she was actually the player that brought over Temi Fagnollet to the London Lions. So, like, these are people that have experience understanding what is going on overseas. They realize who are the best players in these overseas leagues, and they're like, okay, let's see how we can actually experiment and make this work. So I think they understand, like, okay, we have an idea of what type of international talent we want to bring, and understanding, okay, how can we make them successful in this league? And I'm very curious to see how this all pans out. Now, moving on to Janelle Salon, I've been a big fan of Salon for quite a bit. I think this is someone that is 6'2", that is so physical, so athletic, that she's a player that I think can play in this league right away.
Yeah, really good defender.
I wanted to see her play coming into this league right away, because she definitely has the frame and the level of physicality to bang with the best of them in this league. Yeah. And she's also someone that is a defensive stalwart. She's gonna grind. She's not someone that's gonna try to be like a soft physical defender. No, if she's in those one-on-one situations, you want her. She really wants to make you feel her, because she's not gonna start anything. She's gonna be up in your face. She can defend multiple positions. She's someone that's worked on her outside jumper to where she's improved as a catch and shoot player, where she can be a catch and shoot 3-point player. Right? Think of someone like a Kayla Thornton, but can also do a little bit of the shot creation. She has a lethal step back that she's worked on. So I think she's someone that can be a very, very good two-way player in this league.
Nice. Like, you make a good point. I forgot. I said this before the Mikachu. I forgot that how good the Liberty are at their scouting game and their international game. I've said that before the Mikachu. So that was a great point you bring up. Also, another person that's super high. One of the first persons I heard speaking about Janelle Salon is my brother Nate. Nate, you got some words you want to say about Janelle Salon?
Yeah, I was just hoping the Scott could get her. But yeah, the Valkyries was on that, man. I was talking about her for the past 4 or 5 months, and then the Valkyrie snatched her up. So yeah, I had because her brother's in the NBA, so I've been watching her tape and watching her film. I mean, she needs to gain some more muscle too, but the fact that when she was supposed to be drafted, she went undrafted, and she basically became one of the top free agents. It's pretty crazy, man. So I'm interested to see how she does, because she's on a training camp contract, and basically almost like her last year of her rookie contract, basically. So I think she's gonna do good. She actually reminds me of what Sivka wound up being. You know what I'm saying? They kind of similar type players, 6'3", 6'4", not really post players, but more like on the perimeter, can do some posts or undersized threes. Got a good 3-point shot, but I think her defense is a little better than Sayuka's right now. But I mean, she's 22, so but I'm interested to see what she looks like. But I think her and Sayuka's game is pretty similar.
And also something to add about Janelle. Janelle was one of the players that had good minutes in that Olympic game versus Team USA. But she's already had experience guarding, some of the WNBA's elite. But I think that just goes to show you what Janelle Salon can do, but also on a broader scale, what France is doing on an international level when you think of just the talent that they have over there.
Facts. Chat, y'all got any questions for Alfred before we move on?
Oh, also, sorry to interject. Wody Mack also brought up a good point that they also have some other great French talent. When you think of Ileana Rupert, who's actually was Las Vegas's first round draft pick for a while back, played with Las Vegas, ultimately went to Atlanta. Now she's in Golden State. She's had a phenomenal season also overseas with Turkey. She's taken a leap. We're talking about a 6'4" stretch big that can shoot, that can be successful in the post and can do multiple things. They also have Carla Late, 5'9", 5'10" guard, who recently helped her team, Villeneuve d'Ascq in France, win the Euro Cup this year. So the Valkyries have a lot of things going, and they have a lot of international players that are at the top of the game.
Yeah. Look like Smoke Jr. might have. What did he say? He says, "Hey Alfred, can you attempt to reach the WNBA and have them officially measure their height, weight, wingspan, and reach for all players? Some information is public and accurate." That might be a little bit above his pay grade. I don't know if he can.
Yeah, that's a little bit above what I do, but I will say there have been a lot of people that have been wanting that type of information to become a little bit more public, especially since some of that is more accessible on the NBA side of things. So the
ESPN data has been suspect at best, which is very surprising.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to that was great analysis of the Storm. That was great analysis of the Valkyrie. Now we're gonna get into my favorite team. I want to hear your thoughts on. I think I got this one because I hear it. I think it's Ajsa Sivka.
Yep, you got it right. Ajsa Sivka. Yep.
What's your thoughts on Sivka?
Yes, I think she's a very high potential player when you think of like what she can give you. 6'4", can create off the dribble, but also a 6'4" knockdown 3-point shooter. This season was probably not necessarily the best of flashes of season she had with Tarbes in the French league, because she did have some up and down games. But I think if you're Chicago, you're looking over the long term, not necessarily the short term. You're looking at what she can possibly be. And I think it's a little bit of that Leonie Fibic effect now. Like once the Liberty brought Leonie over, and she exploded on the scene. Now everyone, we need the next Leonie, we need the next international star.
Right.
So I think Chicago is looking to see, okay, can we get that? And especially for Chicago, a team that had the rights to Leonie Fibic at one point and let it go. Possibly this is a chance to rectify that a little bit by getting Sivka and see what she develops into. But I like her game. She's someone that can pass. A lot of Tarbes did run a little bit of inverted pick and rolls with her and Mirjanata Musa, who recently signed a training camp contract with Phoenix. So she's also had experience against pro-level talent, and I'm excited to see how Chicago uses her if she comes over. But I think she fits essentially what they needed, which was, let's see if we can get some floor spacing and some size along with Angel Reese and along with Camila Cardoso, to where it's not necessarily as cluttered down low. So I think Chicago will definitely found the player that they want for the future.
Here's my question for you. So I thought about something today. So I think Chicago is going two directions. One, first, let me ask, before I get to my second question, let me ask you this. How well, because she is a 6'3", 6'4" forward. A little bit of perimeter game. She could put the ball on the floor. She could shoot. She could pass. That's one of my favorite thing about her game is the fact that she could pass off the dribble. I love that. My question to you is, how well do you think she could play the three next to Angel and Camilla? Because I think her natural position is probably 4, and she has 3 skills. Like, she a hybrid player. But if she had to play that 3 100% of the time, how well you think she'll fit into that role? With development, obviously. Another 19-year-old, another player that's, still reaching her potential. So with that in the consideration of her growing into the role, how well do you think she could play the 3?
Yeah, so I think the main thing for Sivka if she wants to play the 3 is seeing how she fares against actual threes in the league. Because, with the WNBA, it's hard to just kind of slide people in different positions because they may not necessarily work out well. But I think if Chicago somehow can make it work, I think you're looking at a very, very tall 3 to 5 when you think of Sivka at 6'4", Angel Reese at 6'3", Camila Cardoso at 6'7".
Yeah.
And if you can make that work, for Chicago, I mean, that's going to be a very interesting tandem, especially when you think of the size, but also the versatility that can bring, especially with Reese and Sivka.
I think Cardoso is going to be good this year. She got in a lot of good work in China, and everybody been focusing on Angel and Unrivaled and all that kind of stuff, but
nobody focusing on Camila.
Camila put in work this overseas season. She put in work.
Oh yeah, Camilla's definitely had some good games, and I think that's the beauty of the overseas game is because one, you're learning how to play a different style of basketball. You're learning a little bit of physical reps, but then also for a lot of these players that may not necessarily get the minutes or chance to get those live reps on the W side, playing international is such a great way for them to actually get consistent reps, consistent things. So the only way you're really going to learn is if you're on the floor. So getting those minutes, I think, is very helpful.
To your point from what you just said, if she could develop into that 3 role, I think she becomes, because the reason why I'm saying is a lot of people as fans, Sky fans that don't know much about her, is confused, right? They confused on the pick. Some people may like the pick, some people don't like the pick. I think that if she develops into the player you just said, she becomes because right now you can't say it because we don't know what's going to happen, but I think she becomes a steal of the draft at that point. What's your thoughts on that, Alfred?
Yeah, so I think in terms of still the draft, we have to see how that pans out because there's a lot of players, especially when you think of international and domestic, that could possibly be considered steals depending on where they fell. But Sivka is definitely interesting. I think when you think of steals of the draft, that's something you want to see how it looks like 2-3 years down the line.
No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. If she develops, I'm not saying right now. I can't put that on her now. I'm saying if she develops into that player, right? Because that's a unicorn, right? If you develop, because right now her game to me, in my opinion, not getting better. She's a solid player right now. She's not a 3, right? She's somebody who could play backup for, right? And some 3 minutes, some 4 minutes. That's who she is, right? Maybe even a bench player, right? Not even a starter. But if she could develop into a starting level 3, if she could play that position, to me, you a lottery pick now, right? Like she should have been drafted top 3. You get what I'm saying? Like a player that's 6'3", that could, because like I said, when you look at her skill set, the fact that she could dribble the ball the way she do, she could shoot the way she do, but most importantly, she could pass the way she do. That means you making your teammates better now. If you could develop into a starting 3 at 6'3", that's different. That's like Dirk for the WNBA, right? I mean for the NBA, right? That's a different type of player right there. So that I'm saying if she develops into that, she becomes the steal. Right now, I don't, it's too early to say. Here's my other thing though. This was the other thing I was getting at. So that's the positive side. That was my first question was the positive side. Here's what I thought about today randomly, and I was just like, that's very well possible. This is for everybody on the panel. Y'all tell me what y'all think it is. I think part of the reason that Jeff drafted Sivka was for a contingency plan of Angel Reese leave, or if him and Angel Reese start having problems and he trade Angel Reese, he now has his stretch. You know what I mean? He now has his lineup that he likes of the future. With you got Camilla at the 5, you got a stretch 4 now at the 4, and then he have his lineup like that. I think that's part of the reason why he drafted her. I don't think that's the whole reason. I think he's moving forward. Hold on, Nate, relax. Nate, I know you get excited. I know you a Chicago Sky fan. I know you a Chicago Sky.
I'm a cynic too. I feel you, bro.
Hold on. Let me finish my thought. I'm almost done because I want y'all. I know why Coach. You hear the Chicago Sky Lions is out the cage. You can't say nothing.
You hear them triggers click clack.
Hey, that's why I'm different, bro. Just because if I like a team because I like a player, I'm not biased. I'm just an honest person, right? I'm just being honest. You don't have to like the take. Just let me finish, right? I think part of the reason that Jeff picked Sivka was because he thinks that she has a potential to be great, and if you can add her to a Camilla and an Angel, it's amazing. I think the other part. If him and Angel ain't in 2-3 years down the line, if they not, I think that's the replacement. What do you guys think of that?
I'm gonna say this. I see what you're saying. I'm saying because that's a horrible business decision. Like, okay, the coach thing, that's different because that's year one. We ain't getting along. You was hired, you think you better than me. Because you was hired first, you got to go. That's different. I seen the way you coach. That's different. Now the player, because it's becoming a players' league. Like before, it was not. So this is becoming a players' league, especially with the new CBA. So if 2 to 3 years down the line, she's gonna be worth more than he is. So that's a horrible business decision. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm like, that's a horrible business decision.
I want to hear from somebody else. You a Chicago Sky fan? I get it.
But look how Dallas did Luka. Nobody saw that shit coming. If they not feeling you, ooh.
But that was a bit. You hear the NBA players talk. That was a business decision because look where they sent him to LA. International cap. That was a business decision.
So
and he was out of shape and all that.
Hold on, Nate. Hold on, Nate. We got your point already. You don't got to keep explaining it. We understand. I want to hear from other people.
But
I know how you feel. That's cool. Let me hear from somebody else. I got you, Nate. Nate, you say nah. Cool. I want to hear from other people.
But you look at it like this: if she develops into halfway decent player and it makes the team better, that Angel could say some wild stuff on the internet or on her podcast, and he could just flip the switch if he feels like it. It doesn't. She could probably go to, I don't know. I'm gonna say LA because that's the first thing that popped in my mind. She could get traded to LA for some regular pieces. Know what I mean? Or some draft picks, just off rip. I mean that's a business move. That sound crazy. I like that, Brooke.
Here's my thought on Angel. Because I think Angel, in my opinion, people got too caught up into getting her own rebounds and all of that kind of stuff. My issue is she did it, and everybody was watching her pull down rebounds, so it is what it is. She did that work. However, she is one of those players, and it's not a lot of them, where she in the WNBA and she taking a pay cut. So my thing with Angel is her off the court stuff gonna get so big that's gonna be her full time? Is that gonna be her focus? And I don't think a lot of people, the circles we hang in Brooklyn with K-Sap and all of them, a lot of them was crashing out because they didn't like that draft at all. However, every team, this is all paper tigers until they get on the court. You don't know what you got. You don't know how they're going to gel. You don't know how good they are going to be. Chicago could surprise a lot of people. I know a lot of people didn't like those draft picks. It don't mean they're going to be a good team. You don't know what Tyler Marsh is going to do. So you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. And you got to, and I'm saying that as an Indiana fan. We got all of them pieces. Don't mean we're going to be any good.
Exactly.
So it's always a wait and see. And I'm very curious if Chicago is good, but Angel Reese ain't getting the shine. How is that going to affect how things go going forward? Because is it about winning or is it about getting the shine right now?
No, I think it's for her.
I'll be honest with you.
It's about winning. Now,
Yeah,
I think because you heard Haley, you know what I'm saying, based on she gave her praise, she says Angel has said, I just want to win. I'm not used to losing. I want to win. Me and Camilla, neither one of us are used to losing right now. We want to win. So I think her main thing, she's like, yeah, Angel doesn't, she's like, whatever she has to do the dirty work to win, that's what she's gonna do. So I don't really care. I don't think she really cares. She get a shine because she'll get all defense. Like they're winning, she's defensive player of the year. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna get not necessarily the shine, but she's gonna get the credit if they win because she's gonna get the blame if they lose, right? Because it's Angel Reese. Whether she gets 10 points or 20, they're gonna blame her or give her the credit. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna blame the coach even if he make a coaching decision that's bad. If she's not on the floor, they're gonna blame her regardless. They ain't gonna blame Caitlin, they're gonna blame Angel. So I think her main thing, she wanna win. Like especially if they have a good record.
Let me jump in.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Nate, because you be going. You already made your point. You already made your point. Nah, you good. You good. But listen, I agree with Nate though, because here's the thing, and I'm not mad at Coach for saying that because one thing I love about my podcast is all opinions are welcome. I don't want this to be a biased podcast. That's why you can see I can ask the questions I do. I'm not here to be biased. I'm here for the conversation, but the elevation of women's basketball. That's what I'm here for. I'm an Angel Reese fan, but I'm ultimately here for the elevation of the game. Let's be clear, right? So I could have biased conversations. I could have unbiased conversations. I could have the difficult conversations. We could do it all. And I could be real. I could be real about my favorite players, and I could be real about the players that's not my favorite players. So when we talk about Angel, I could talk about the tough stuff. If we talk about Caitlin, I could talk about the stuff they don't want to talk about, right?
You see my man say only a CC fan would ask that question.
Yeah, but listen, I'm okay with him saying that because look, just before that, Coach, what he said. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So we got different opinions in the chat. It's gonna be people who disagree with you. It's gonna be people who agree. So that's a great thing. But I want to piggyback off what Nate said because I agree with Nate with this. I think a lot of people who don't know much. Let me say that. They don't know much. Some of us know a little bit more about Angel Reese than others. So the people who don't know much, and the funny thing enough, I'm gonna tell y'all a story that's gonna tie all this in. So I was just doing my job. I ain't gonna say what I do. I was just doing my job a few days ago, and I ran into this building guy. He worked for the building, and we was just chatting. And then I was like, my podcast came up. I'm like, yeah, I talk women basketball. He like, word. And he was like, Angel Reese, my girl. So I was like, word. But he was like, yeah, but he said this the same narrative. Oh, but she need to cover up or whatever. So I just laughed and I was like, do you really watch women's basketball? So he said he do, but I really know he don't. I really know he do. He said he do. But I said, I gave him this analogy, and this is the point that I'm about to make with y'all right now. I said, if you don't really watch like that, the images that come across your screen is gonna be the salacious stuff. You only gonna see it about. I said it's 365 days in a year. I said she might put on something revealing maybe 10 times out the year, but you're gonna see all 10 of those and say she need to cover up, but you haven't seen the way she dressed for the rest of the year because you're not really paying attention.
About Sophie.
Right. No, he ain't say nothing about Sophie. But hold on, I was making his point. I was like, you really not. I said, you really not paying attention. You only see those 10 things, and you make an opinion off of those 10 things, off of really watching who she actually is. My point to that is saying there's a lot of people who don't really know Angel Reese, so they see the podcast, they see the lives, they see all of this, and they think, oh, she's more in tune with that than she is the game. But the people who know Angel Reese, if you really know her, what she does is, let's say if she have an endorsement or whatever she's working on, she get up and works out before that. A person who don't care about the game won't do that. She gets up 5 a.m. and go do a workout before she go do a commercial. You get what I'm saying? If she's doing a podcast, she already done put the work in the gym for her basketball game. You get what I'm saying? That's the people who know Angel Reese and know what she's in tune with, know that the basketball always comes first. But the people who don't know, they just see what they see on social media and think, oh, she's consumed with that. She cares more about that than the game.
Right.
So that's why I agree with Nate that winning is the most. And then if you know anything about Angel Reese for her whole life, she's been winning her whole fucking life. Like this winning ain't nothing new for her. That's actually like old news to her. She's been winning since she's been in high school. She got 4 championships in basketball and 1 in volleyball in high school. You get what I'm saying? And then obviously we know. Got you. We know that she won in college. She won in them rival. We just waiting for her to win in the pros. But anyway, let's get back to
and real quick, by the way, Gamble, I do like Angel Reese. Just because I like Indiana and Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell does not mean I am not an Angel Reese fan. I like Angel Reese. She doing her damn thing. Don't get it twisted.
Don't forget about my girl Angel winning in AAU too, bro.
Absolutely.
AAU. Hey, listen, she's been winning her whole career. Mo3, you got anything that you want to ask Alfred on Sivka before we move on to the next international player?
Nah, because out of the 3 that we spoke of so far, she's the one that has done more. She's
done more research or know the most. Yeah, me too. All right. So the next player we're gonna talk about is the Russian player out of that got signed to the Lynx. I'm gonna just say Kosu. What you got on Kosu, Alfred?
Yeah, so Kosu is definitely a player that popped up recently on draft boards. Not a lot of people were following her until kind of recently, up until the draft. But she's a very athletic player, 6'1", long arms, playing overseas in the Russian league. I think the one thing that you're going to want to see over the next few years is her developing her perimeter game in terms of her outside shot. She's not much of a shooter right now in the Russian league. She really primarily plays off of cutting, primarily plays more inside the three-point line than from it. But she's a fantastic defender. Someone that can block shots, that can force turnovers, that can guard in the point of attack, can do multiple things on the floor. And when you think of where she's going to in Minnesota, that's the type of player that Cheryl Reeve likes, people who can defend, that can impact the game, not just on the offensive side, but also can impact on the defensive side. And when you're going to a historic franchise like the Minnesota Lynx that has multiple championships and a coach like Cheryl Reeve that has seen and done it all, I think that's the type of player that you really want to see how she develops under a coaching staff and coaching player, a coach like Cheryl Reeve.
Cheryl Reeves don't like young players, though. She does not like young players. She does not play. She likes the veteran team. So I'm hoping the one thing that we saw from last year is that last year's season, hopefully that cracked the door for players coaches like Cheryl Reeve that will let these young players get minutes on the court. Because with the exception of Angel and Caitlin and Rikea and Cam Brink until she got hurt, you look at a lot of the other teams and, Alyssa Pewley sat on the bench all year. And there's other situations and examples of that. So I'm just hoping that Cheryl Reeves, because I want to see the girl play. And I hope she don't collect splinters on that bench.
I think Cheryl gets kind of like a bad rap of not liking young players. I don't think she doesn't like them. I think because if the player is exceptional, she has no problem starting them day one. She's done it before. She's done it multiple times before, but I don't never hear anyone talk about that. They only talk about the ones that she bench. They don't talk about the ones that she plays. So I think like there's a narrative that she don't like young players. Not that she don't like them. She probably think like their skills are just not developed enough to be a starter. She has like a high standard. So if you're not exceptional, then you're not started. But if you're exceptional, regardless of your age, you're started. I don't think it's an actual age thing. I think it's just a skill thing.
Yeah, it's more about the fit for the team with that she needs at that particular, team that they playing. I mean, I like Cheryl Reeves. She's a great coach. She coached Team USA too. I mean, she was assistant for a hot minute, but that's just her style of play. she has a specific game plan that she sets forth that she wants to see accomplished. And if you ain't meeting that standard at the time, you just gonna ride the bench.
That's fair.
That's a good point. I'm gonna mess this name up because I just heard her say a name the other day, Alford. But so I'm not even gonna say the name. I'm gonna say the French center that they signed before the draft early in the season. You know what I'm talking about?
Marianne Badian.
There we go. How do you think she's gonna? Because she's an older. I believe she's a rookie. So she's an older rookie. Obviously, she got the experience in France, and we all know when you start talking about the Minnesota Lynx, we talk about a team that almost won a championship, and their weakness, in my opinion, you tell me if you feel differently, but their weakness, in my opinion, was not having somebody to match up with basically Jonquel Jones. I feel like they matched up well everywhere else but there, and I feel like they added some depth at the center, but nobody above like 6'3", 6'4". Do you think Madiam?
Yeah, Badian.
Yeah, do you think she's gonna be able to help there, or do you think they're still weak there? Like, what's your thoughts on her?
Yes, I think what Badian is especially if you watch overseas playing alongside a team like Fenerbahce, she's someone that is basically a utility center. She's gonna score in the post. She's going to be able to stretch the floor and knock down perimeter shots. She's going to defend with her length. She's mobile. Part of that French Olympic team that we saw, so we see that she can actually guard. She had the actual task of guarding players like Asia and Stewie in the Olympics. But when you're looking at what Minnesota needs, Minnesota really had success when they had floor spacing bigs. But when you look at Alana Smith and others, like people that can stretch the floor, like once Minnesota loves to go into that pick and roll with Courtney Williams and Fee, get that short roll and then try to draw defenders in. You need players that you can also kick to, but you also need players that can initiate stuff in the post. So I think Badian is someone that has that experience overseas and someone that also can really, especially if we're talking about Cheryl Reeve liking more veteran players, I think why not go for someone that's a veteran overseas, but that can also fit your game plan right now, but can also do multiple things on the field.
Anybody got any questions for about the Minnesota Lynx, about Kosu, about the center name I'm not going to try to pronounce again, or any of these players? You muted, Coach. I see your lips moving.
I was gonna say we need to have a show just on how to pronounce these names, bro.
Right. It's gonna take some time because we American. All right. So fun fact about me, my girl's Dominican, right? And one thing about Dominicans or Spanish people in general, Hispanics, if you will, they names are in Spanish. So when you say their name in English, they like, that's not my name. It's pronounced like this. And it's like, I pronounce words in English though. But like, for instance, it took me a while to be able to get my girl name correctly because I always said it. It's her first letter starts with an I. And with us, that's eh. But in Hispanics, that's E. So she would get mad that I didn't say E. She's like, no, that's not my name. It's E. Right? So
you're gonna learn today.
In other words, it's gonna take time because a lot of these players' names is pronounced in their country's pronunciation. We know English. Like if I don't know your language, it's gonna take me a little time to pronounce that thing.
Bruh, it took me a whole week to get used to saying Agumba Wale. I ain't gonna lie. And I practiced it. So I'm with you on that one, bro.
All right, so look, we're gonna move on to Mikachu's favorite team. We're gonna move on to the team that Alfred covers. They picked up somebody named, let me see if I can get her name down. Ajsa Khan. They picked up somebody named Ajsa Khan, who I know nothing about. This was like, was it the last pick in the draft?
Yeah.
This was the last pick in the draft.
Miss Wingspan.
So tell us a little bit about Ajsa Khan, how she's going to be able to help the Liberty. We already know the Liberty, obviously, for the people that's been under a rock, is a champion, right? And also, not only can we talk about Ajsa Khan, you could also talk about the additions of Natasha Cloud, how you think she's going to help the Liberty. Talk about Isabel Harrison. Do you think she's going to contribute? And then talk about Benaje Laney Hamilton, her being out, and how you think that affects you guys. And do you think you need to do something? Like, do you think you guys is fine with her being out and you have enough, or do you think you need to make a move to cover her loss?
Yeah. So on the part about Ajsa Khan, she's someone that I've been covering for a little bit, because I noticed that there wasn't necessarily a lot of chatter about her as a draft prospect coming in. But I think what the stats offensively may not leap out if you look at her stats. She doesn't necessarily average the most points, but he was third in blocks per game in France in the same league that Dominique Malonga plays. So you're looking at someone that's 6'3", that can be effective on the defensive end. You see the picture there, crazy wingspan, like crazy long arms at 6'3", someone that's very mobile. She definitely is going to be a draft and stash pick. GM Jonathan Cole alluded to that. That's someone we're going to watch from afar and develop as she could, and see how she progresses overseas. Because right now the Liberties roster is set for the most part. There's not necessarily a lot of things that they need to add. So expect Ajsa Khan to possibly be in the Liberty fold within the next few seasons. This isn't a right now move. But in terms of additions like Natasha Cloud and Isabel Harrison, hey, the Liberty want to repeat. They want to be New York's dynasty when it comes to basketball. That's the word that's being thrown about. And I think when you look at the additions of Natasha Cloud, someone that has good size, that can defend, that can be a facilitator, someone who can be kind of that Courtney Vandersloot replacement, but again, also more size, probably a little bit better on the defensive end. Someone that continues to try to work on her offensive repertoire, her offensive shot, but someone that has that dog mentality that can really, give New York that extra energy. Isabel Harrison, a versatile big that has history with Coach Sandy Brondello. I think, New York has the pieces that they want. In terms of losing Benaje Laney Hamilton, that's going to be huge, because you look at Benaje Laney Hamilton, one of the league's best defenders, someone that can guard multiple positions, that can guard guards, that can guard wings, that can do multiple things. However, when you look at the Liberty's roster, you have someone like that in Leonie Phoebus. So if you look at the league Leonie took from when she started the season to basically being a key playoff piece for them at the end, someone that can do some of those things. Kennedy Burke is someone that they may expect to take a big leap as well, someone who the Liberty had last year. But I don't think people realize Kennedy Burke can play. In that same league that Dominique Malonga and Sivka and Khan played, not this past season, but last season, Kennedy Burke is a two-time French League MVP. So she's someone that's really improved her game and has really improved on both ends of the floor. And she wants to be that spark. She wants to be that player that gives New York energy and life. So I think how Kennedy Burke can play. Rebecca Gardner, who we haven't seen in a while because she was injured, she's looking to come back healthy. So New York has the pieces that they need to compete. So I think New York is good without BLH right now in that term, but I think they're really going to try to see what they can do without her. But then also, if they can be dominant without her, imagine how much to that extra level they can be with her when she comes back.
Great point. I see. It seems like that's the same thing Mika Chu said when I asked her. I'm of a little bit different. Listen, probably first of all, obviously, I'm a Chicago Sky fan, but I am a New Yorker, so I will be going to some Liberty games. I will, I do want to see the Liberty be successful. I'm somebody that's of the thinking, if we could get somebody to come in and contribute, why not? To your point, though, I think some of those players on that bench will step up. I'm excited to see if I'm saying her name correctly, Marquisha Davis. I'm excited to see what she's going to bring this year because she didn't get a lot of minutes last year. I think she's pretty good. Obviously, we know Jalen Sherrod seemed like she's probably going to get more minutes. Maybe she came on like late last season, played in a few games. So obviously, we know Jalen Sherrod should contribute this year. But I'm really excited to see what Marquisha Davis does this year. Yeah. What's your thoughts, Mika Chu and Alford, since y'all both Liberty fans on the panel?
I'll let Mika Chu go. I think I've spoken.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Just what's your thoughts on so I was saying that I think Marquisha Davis is going to contribute a lot this year. So I was saying, what's your thoughts? I was pretty much piggybacking off of what Alfred said. Alfred said, look out. What is it? You said Kennedy Burke, I think you said?
Yep.
Look out for Kennedy Burke. He said, look out for Kennedy Burke to step up, because he said the same thing you said. Remember the question I asked a few weeks ago, a few days ago, about do you guys need to add something for Benaja being out? And you said no. You said you guys is fine. You said you think that at that time you said you think Natasha Cloud is the person who needs to step up, and that was your answer for that. So he kind of said something similar, but he brought up Kennedy Burke. So I was saying that I was agreeing with both of you. I was saying I actually want them to go get somebody. That's my competitive nature. Like, yo, we could stack, we could just pad a little extra on top. Let's do it. But to y'all point, I'm gonna land with this. To y'all point, I want to see Marquisha Davis get some minutes, because I think she's gonna be a really good player in the W. Yeah, Mikachu.
Not just looking at the roster, because I was checking the roster too. The Liberty is known for like switching pieces around to get a better fit. Because right now, remember, Kayla Thornton, she wasn't even drafted, so they brought her in on like a 10-day contract, and so that she was great on defense and she could shoot the three. You know what I mean? So she worked her way up. She, did basically what Becky Hammond did when the Liberty first started back in the 90s, worked her way up into being a better rotation. So I do love Kennedy Burke. At the time, I thought she was, still getting her, not sea legs, but, getting her fit into see how she moves and gels with this different people on the court.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel you. I just got to see them on the court first to see, like, I like that dog type player, and that's why I love Natasha Cloud, because she'll bring that, but she does need like another piece, because like when Benaja Laney Hamilton and Kayla Thornton was on the court, it was unstoppable, because you had Benaja would do her little middies or step out into the three, or then pop out to Kayla Thornton if other people weren't, shots weren't falling, and Kayla Thornton would drop the three. So that's what I'm looking. I mean, it's still, the season hasn't even started yet, so I just gotta see, because you never know. Some people that been drafted and on the roster might not be there, because the Liberty like to move pieces around like they playing chess.
Good point. What you got on this outfit?
I think there should be a mandate that.
Yeah, I think the Liberty have succeeded in, what Mikachu said, being able to find pieces that fit their scheme, that are able to fit what they want, to fit their play style. You think of even the roster in 2022, we saw kind of the precursor of Brianna Stewart and John Paul Jones with Natasha Howard and Steph Dawson a little bit. We're thinking about a forward that can be in the post, that can also step outside, but you upgrade that to Brianna Stewart. You look at Steph Dawson, a big 6'5", 6'6" center that can also be in the post and also in the perimeter. You elevate that with John Paul Jones. So it's all about really finding the pieces that you can fit and have a championship piece, and I think New York has done a good job at it.
I agree. What you were saying, Coach?
Nah, I was just kind of making a joke. I think all of these women coming out, I think there should be a mandate that you cannot use the phrase "I'm a dog" until we have at least seen you play at least 5 games.
You got to earn the dog title. I like
earn it.
I like that.
That's
everybody
like,
not a dog.
Man, I'm a dog is like saying it's like Kleenex now. It's ubiquitous. Everybody using it. It's like, I got to see that on the court.
Who disrespected the name? Point them out.
Haley Van Lith said it. That's like the thing to say now. Like, she's a dog on the court, and everybody. My point is, she said it when Holly Rowe was talking to her.
Yeah, she said we both talking.
Yeah. So it's like everybody's saying it's like just That's me. I'm a former player, so like I want to see it on the field.
I guess they retired. I'm a workhorse because
It's all
connection
good.
with.
I'm nitpicking.
I have more faith because watching Candace break down her film, which I just sent to the chat. Watching Candace break down Haley Van List's film, man, I have even more, hope for what the Sky gonna do, what she can possibly turn into. Just seeing Candace Parker break down her film and seeing Haley Van List, how she evolved from Louisville to TCU and her decision making. And she's like, in the WNBA, this is what you got to be able to do: move without the ball, make the right decisions. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying she a dog, but I'll say she has the potential to be a dog. So, I mean, she going on what she's done. Hey, Angel said it before she came out, and she proved she was right. So I know everybody ain't Angel, but I mean, until proven otherwise, until it get taken from her,
Angel is a dog. So like that's just goes without saying. But I get what Coach is saying. He's saying that everybody not no dog. Like we got a dog is a special thing, right? There's a certain class of dog. So you got to prove you a dog, and it ain't got nothing to do with HBL or nobody else. You got to, like I said,
maybe she's a Shih Tzu. What type of dog is she?
Nah. There's only one. There's only one. And we all know what the dog is. So the reason,
it's like you making up your own nickname. Come on now, you can't claim that.
No. I don't think
has to be proven.
I don't think that there you go has to be proven, but I don't think that's what it is. I think everybody is almost like a person saying, I do the dirty work on the team. We already know it's not many people. That's why it's called dirty work. Not everybody does it, right? Not everybody likes to do it. So it's like you can't come in. It's almost like saying I'm a leader, and there's only one or two leaders on the team. The whole team ain't full of leaders, so the whole team can't come in and be dogs. You get what I'm saying? A dog is a certain thing that provides something for a team, and you can have multiple dogs on a team, but everybody not a dog. So it's like if you are gonna claim that title, you got to be that. You can't just say that and want the badge and not that. I can't walk in the locker room, as you know, Coach, because you was a player. I can't walk in the locker room and say I'm a leader, and everybody in the locker room know I'm not. They gonna look at you like, nigga, you not the leader. We don't follow you, we follow him. That's the leader.
And ultimately, the cream is gonna rise to the top anyways, regardless of what you say. So I'm like, they're just streamlined it, and let's not get it twisted. I understand why they say it. I know why they say it. I'm not.
It's one of those. Hey, Coach, it's one of those things you put on your resume that you want everybody to. You know what I mean?
Exactly. If
I was a supervisor at my old spot. No, you didn't. You answered the phone.
You know what? This is it. If I got to tell you, then that means it ain't gonna happen. I shouldn't have to tell you.
Nope.
See, I disagree with that. I'm gonna tell you why. Because that sound like the people that criticize me, right? Like I'm one of the people. And I understand what you're saying, Coach, but I'm saying we can't forget these people. I'm a confident person. So like if we having a conversation about, like, I won't just come out and just say something I am or something I do, right? But if we having a conversation about it, I'll tell you. All right? Some people feel like you're not even supposed to do that. You should never speak or not. We talking about it, so I'm gonna tell you. Whatever it is, whatever I do, you're not supposed to do that. I don't agree with that. I'm a confident person. If we talking about it, I'm gonna tell you what I could do. I'm gonna tell you what I can't do. I'm gonna tell you what I'm bad at.
Well, hey, bro, you just sounded like you was underwater. Your mic, you just sound like you was underwater talking.
Okay, I'm back now.
Yeah.
It does that. It does that sometimes.
Here's a legitimate question though that I have, and no wrong answers. I'm simply looking for opinions. The last 3 years, I've been hearing generational talent. How long is a generation? Because we certainly have a lot of generational talents. So how long? What's the?
To me, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because I say this word when I'm talking about a player that comes around every 5-6 years. To me, that's a generational talent. Somebody that's not, you don't come around every year. It's not somebody that we're gonna see all the time. But you might not see this player for another 5 or 6 years or more. So that's how I use it. Am I wrong? How do you guys use it?
I would say at least you got to give me at least 4 to 5 years. I'm with you on that one. At least a series of from freshman to senior So that's 4 to 5 years.
There we go. And that's a
but it's like
generational talent to me.
Every year we got is Juju a generational talent? Was Angel a generational talent? Was Caitlin a generational talent? Was Aaliyah Boston? Was Aaliyah Edwards? Was Candace Parker?
But see, Coach, sometimes you can have, and I don't see this a lot in the men's game. And the men's game is a little different, but I think in the women's game with the boom, sometimes you can have generational talents in the same generation. You get what I'm saying? So we do have multiple of them, but that don't mean you're gonna get another one. They might just be in the same draft. It might be a lot of them in the same draft class or close in a couple draft class, and then we don't get another one for a while. So
because I look at, in my opinion, you can't say somebody's a generational talent after 1 or 2 years in the league. You got to give me at least 4 to 5 to see if they have the consistency. Now, there are a lot of elite level players, but to me, there's a level above that. And again, I'll go, but like you mentioned earlier, as a former player, you look at NFL players, there are a lot of good players. There are a lot of Pro Bowl players. There are a lot of all-pro. People might not notice the difference between a Pro Bowl player and an all-pro player. A Pro Bowl player is voted on by the fans. An all-pro player is voted on by the players.
By the players, okay.
Then you level up to Hall of Famers. And they're in the category. To me, when you talk about generational talent, that's up there with the level of like damn near Hall of Famers. You that good, and you're that good, that consistent all the time.
Got you. So
to me, Asia, Candace Parker, they were generational talents.
Facts. I agree with that. That's a good point, Coach.
Hey, did you see the chat or the private chat, Brooklyn?
Nah.
Got to hit back that international stuff. My man got to drop it at 11.
Got you. What time is it? Because we pretty much done. We got that. That's why I was about to ask a question. We pretty much ran through all the players I wanted to talk about. We ran through all the players in the 2025 draft. If anything that I missed, that you feel like that's informative, Alfred, that you want to let us know about international players, let us know about yourself, how to reach you, anything that you're doing in the future, let us know. Or if there's anything in the chat, again, if you guys want to ask some questions, this is now the time to ask, because we pretty much wrapping up the show at this point.
Yeah.
But anybody
Alfred,
anybody on the panel,
bro. You got good stuff, man.
Yeah, anybody on the panel want to ask questions, now is the time. You got anything that I might have missed that you feel like is important that we should know about these international players, Alfred?
No, I think we kind of covered it all. I think we touched it base on most of it. There's going to be more international players getting drafted in the future. 2026 is going to have quite a few that's slated already. 2 names to check out, possibly Our Fam and Iana Martin carry on it in Spain. Our Fam is a 6'4", really athletic, really strong. Has been there are parallels to her and Malonga a little bit in terms of like what people feel they can do. Iana Martin, she's a young guard, 5'9", dynamic in the pick and roll. Recently won EuroLeague's Young Player of the Year award at just 18-19. So she's someone that's going to be getting some traction coming up in the future. I see a comment in the chat, Jasmine Keys. I do like Jasmine Keys a little bit. She plays for Skio. Could be a little bit of a stretch big. I think the question some WNBA executives are going to have on her is, can she play defense at a W level? But I think if you can shoot and if you have size, there's always going to be a place for you in the professional ranks.
Before you dip off, I got a question about, I think her name is Han Chao, the center. She didn't play this season. Hanju, yes. How you think she gonna fit? Because I saw her for a couple of seasons and she was progressing and getting a little bit better. I still think she need to put a little bit more size on her. But she's a good center, get a couple of blocks and grab some solid rebounds. And she could shoot the 3. I saw her, be able to step out and get some shots up there past the arc. What are your thoughts on her?
Yeah, no, I like Han a lot. I'm not sure if she's gonna come over this season, because again, Liberty just have so many pieces, so many things going on right now. But I think the beauty of Liberty is they always have the rights to these players, so they can kind of mix and match depending on what they need for that particular year. But no, I like Hani. I mean, someone that is 6'10", you know, there's not a lot of 6'10" players in the W just hanging around. So someone at her size, she can post up, she can shoot, she can do multiple things. And I agree with you, she was kind of on that upward trajectory, went back to China, and she's still killing it over there. So
Yeah.
time will tell if we see her back stateside, but no, I do like Han a lot.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Chris, somebody that question that was just up on the screen, was that Chris? Yeah, that was Chris. He was asking about Sivka.
Yeah, I think we touched upon it a little bit. It's really going to be dependent on what Chicago does with her and what they think is the best role for her, because she does kind of play a little bit of that tweener role overseas in the French League with Tarbes. I will say the one thing that could be interesting is if they run her a little bit more playmaking force, because the team that she's on Tarbes, they have this athletic small ball center named Merjanati Musa, who's 6'1", but she's one of the top rebounders in the French League because she's so athletic. And sometimes they'll actually run the pick and roll with sometimes Sivka as the ball handler and Musa as the roller. So if Chicago wants to try to implement something similar to that with like her and Reese one day, I think it's really, we're gonna have to see like what Tyler Marsh wants to do with those type of players.
Good point. Listen, man, let everybody know where to find you. Once again, you, like you said, I think you said X is the best place to hit you up.
Yep. The X is always the best place, since I'm always, posting things on X. Handle Alford Corriette, or if you type in Alford Corriette, you can always just find me there on X. And then I think you mentioned, I'm also on YouTube, where I do usually longer videos, sometimes breaking down players. But definitely can find me on either and get a little bit of information on the international side of things.
Good stuff, bro. Great content, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Listen, great. Go ahead, Coach.
I was gonna say, I'll be reaching out to you, man. You got good content, man.
Thank you.
You got good content, bro. I'm a fan.
Listen, man, great show, everybody. I appreciate everybody that joined my panel. Nate, Mo3, Coach, you already know, Mikachu, and especially Alford. This is our first time connected. We've been talking a lot behind the scenes, trying to link up and do something. So I'm happy that the show turned out as well as it did. Everybody in the panel, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you guys. You guys ask good questions. Everybody who watched this on the playback, definitely follow Alford. Definitely like, comment on their page, subscribe to the page, hit me in the comments. Tell me what you thought about the show, any of these players. Tell me what you think who's your favorite player, your favorite team, what you think about these international players. So yeah, man, I just want to say thank you. This is a great show. I'm happy about it. I feel like it was real informative. I feel like it was a little bit different than what you typically get from these lives, right? Informational. And I feel like we learned a lot about a lot of these international players today. Once again, Alford covers the WNBA. He covers the Liberty. He's a contributor to Her Hoop Stats. He helps with the advanced analytics and everything over there, and he's a scout for the international players. So definitely hit him up. Help build up his socials. He has a YouTube page. Help build that up. Definitely highlight him on the X. Develop a relationship. Definitely a great resource to have in these communities. Yeah, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We're gonna wrap it up with that. Listen, everybody have a good night. Everybody stay safe. Everybody stay blessed. And have a good night.
Hey, Brooklyn.
Yes, sir.
I'm I'm gonna hit you on Discord right after this.
All right, bet. Salute.